self-isolation, living in the subarctic. It snowed like 8 inches yesterday and 6 inches the day before. Most of it is cleaned up, but here we are. Anyway, we have today Barry Hutchison coming to you live from the Scottish Islands. Say hi.
Hello, how you doing?
Good deal, good deal. I see your face, Barry, and you're judging my shirt, aren't you?
I'm always judging your shirt. Any given moment of the day, just know that I'm judging your shirt.
Yeah, this is what you get when you just grab whatever's on top of the laundry pile, which this was at the bottom of the laundry basket when I did
Right.
laundry, but then made its way to the
Right.
top of the pile. So when I grab my stuff to head down here, and also I'll have you know that this is my very last clean shirt. So for every episode from
Excellent.
here on out of the CNM show, it's going to be a double wear.
Yes, recycling. Very important, I hear.
Yeah, I'm not about to go to the public laundry to do laundry. So this is what we get. But also, we just saw you drinking an iron brew. Tell
Oh, yes, yes.
us
I've been
about
stocking
that.
up on supplies. I am every country in the world. The most popular soft drink is Coca-Cola, except Scotland, where Iron Brew is the most popular soft drink in the country. So we are unique in the world in that regard. It's hard to explain what it tastes like. Really, it's kind of slightly bubblegummy, slightly fruity. I don't know what it's supposed to be, but it is absolutely
Scottish.
delicious. So
It's Scottish.
Scottish company bars. Yes, the old advertising slogan used to be "Made in Scotland from girders." Like metal iron girders. I don't know why they thought that point, but yeah, it's absolutely delicious. So I shall be sipping on this throughout the interview in the hope that the Bars Corporation decides to send me free cans of Iron Brew.
Free cans during your isolation. How long are you guys on lockdown for?
Well, we've got strict lockdown measures for the next 3 weeks. Then it's going to be reviewed. I expect to go on substantially longer than that. I think we're looking at this. Who knows? Could be wrong. Let's hope it all works out much quicker than it looks like it might.
I'm sorry, Barry, you're breaking up. Hopefully your internet stays with us. I know you were having some problems this morning. So you thinking 30 days?
Yes.
You broke up right when you said...
Oh, sorry. Yeah, at the moment it's 3 weeks, so 21 days, and then they are reviewing the situation then.
Okay. Well, hopefully it works. Hopefully it works and people stay longer and we separate out and get that flattening the curve, as the new buzzwords seem to be, to limit the impact on hospitals. So that's it. But we're here today to talk crime fiction and some other things. But Barry, you made your name in self-publishing with Space Team.
Yes. Comedy science fiction. It was my first attempt at self-publishing. Prior to that, I had been a traditionally published children's author for 10 years, thereabouts, writing for HarperCollins and Penguin Random House and various other publishers. And then I actually got asked to go and talk at a school and talk to the teenagers and tell them how they could publish their own work. And I had absolutely no idea how you could publish your own work. As far as I knew, you just typed out a book, you emailed it to London, and then a year later, a book arrived in the post, and that was my understanding of the publishing process. So I decided to write this book I'd had at the back of my head for a long time, which was Space Team. I dabbled a little bit with a kind of horror serial thing before that, called The Bug, but Space Team was my kind of big push into trying to self-publish a book. Did that. It started selling very well. Started out selling all my kids' books. So I've now got 12 books in the Space Team series. I'd kind of diverted my attention into indie publishing from then on. So yeah, Space Team was very, very good to me. Space Team was built up a lovely fan base of some very dedicated, potentially insane readers who seem to really love it, and have formed this little community around it, which is really nice.
And one specific thing that I remember you talking in 20 Books London is that you're a good husband, and Fiona didn't give you any money to publish Space Team, so you had to do it all with Space Team revenue.
Oh, yes.
Come on back, Barry. You froze. You froze. I dropped the punchline and you freeze up. Oh man, cutting me deep. Hopefully, oh, are you back now?
Am I back? I can hear you fine. No, you've frozen.
Oh, now you're okay.
Hello?
I can hear you now. Good, good.
You can hear me. Okay. I don't know what's going on. I'm hoping the internet doesn't drop out on us completely, which has been happening all morning. Yeah, being a children's author, I had no money. So I decided I was going to do everything myself. I was going to do the covers. I was going to self-edit. And I was going to do all my kind of marketing without any money at all. So despite all that, I mean, what I didn't have in money, I invested in time. So I learned how to design a cover. Rather than just grab some stock images and stick it together, I looked at what worked for covers. I looked at what other people were doing, and kind of come up with some original ideas that might work in the genre to market as comedy science fiction, because it's definitely more comedy than science fiction. It's a sitcom set in space, basically. So I invested the time in learning all these things, and didn't spend any money up front.
And there will always be an investment. This isn't anything that comes cheaply, but sometimes that investment is time and not money. And you showed that yes, you can do it. But then you started rolling money back into the business in regards to marketing. You got, I believe, you got a book bub and had to pay for that and things.
Yes,
like
that was being Scottish, having to pay out kind of $1,000 in one hit.
And he's touching his face. You freeze up by touching your face. Man, Barry, you got to work on this. So I'm going to heckle you the whole time you're offline, and people will have to be cool with it. So the costs and rolled into it, and then Barry went with royalty share. Oh, there you're back. Okay. I was just going to talk about how you went with royalty share on your audio for Space Team in order to once again save money, and the audiobooks took off.
Yeah, audio did very well. The narrator, Phil Thrawn, it was his first audiobook he'd done through ACX. I got about, I don't know, a dozen auditions, and they were all pretty terrible. And then I heard Phil's audition, and I knew within 7 words that he was the guy to do it, that he nailed it perfectly. And he is as kind of integral to the success of Space Team as I am, I would say.
And he accepted royalty share. Did you show that, hey, look at the sales I've already had on this book?
It's partly that I had a background in traditional publishing that was good to be able to say I've written for HarperCollins and various other people. And also because it was his first one, he was just looking to make a name for himself as well.
Good, really good. And it worked out. And then you took a break from Space Team and you started writing as James Tiberius Kirk.
Yeah, close enough. Yeah, J.D.
Like
Kirk. J.D. Kirk. I don't actually know. People ask me what the J.D. stands for, and I have no idea. I'm thinking John Doe. Like when you find that unidentified John Doe Kirk. I'm thinking. So I don't know what J.D. stands for.
It's easy to remember.
Yeah. I mean, it was basically kind of my nod towards James T. Kirk, but I thought JT would be too close to the bone. So that came about actually after I did an Amazon event. I was talking with L.J. Ross, the British crime author, and I realized kind of how well she was doing. She was lovely. She was full of advice about writing crime, and I had never really read any crime fiction prior to that, like at all. I'd never had any great interest in it. So I read a couple, and then I thought, I'll give this a go and see what happens. And I wanted to do it under a different name because it's different to Spain. So I had to do it under a different name. So I thought I'll create this new persona and just see what happens. And it's done really well. It's outselling everything else I've ever written by 10
orders of magnitude. Yeah. So changing genre, you went with a pen name instead of sticking with Barry Hutchison. Why did you go that route?
I think just because it was so different. I'd like the Barry J. Hutchison stuff, which was Space Team, the Sidekicks Initiative, which is a superhero comedy. It was very much science fiction slash.
While you're locked up, I'm going to make a Tobey Maguire joke because he's one of the characters. Side character gets mentioned in the Space Team, so we're expecting Toby to actually sue Barry at some point in time, and well deserved. But that's a story for a different time. But Toby has a prominent place in Space Team. Not that anybody would take that the wrong way, because Space Team is hilarious. Monty Python in the humor. Anyway, back to J.D. Kirk. I'm just filling the void, and usually it's a picture of you touching your face while you're talking, and then you freeze
yes,
while touching your face.
Maybe that's what does it.
You're,
Maybe yeah. The government's trying to warn us. I shall sit on my hands and see if that helps.
How are you going to drink your iron brew?
Oh, I've got a big straw. I can just inhale it through the air. Filter feed. So JD Kirk. How far did you hear from me?
You froze before you answered the question. It's like, why did you switch to a new a pen name with the new genre?
Oh, right, okay, yeah. A couple of reasons. One was that I didn't want the also bots on Amazon to be populated entirely with comedy, science fiction related stuff. I wanted Amazon to know for a fact that this is crime fiction, and then show that to other crime fiction readers rather than science fiction or comedy readers, So that was part of it. And I just part of it was just I wanted to see if I could do it again, really, because with a whole new name and a whole new brand, I wanted to see if that would if I could make that work. So it was a bit of a challenge to myself as well.
And you wrote that first book. Did you get anybody to take a read through, like a respected author of crime fiction, like LJ or Mark Dawson, to give it a quick perusal?
Neither of those two at that point. Louise LJ Ross, she read it just shortly before it was published, I think. Mel Comley, she read it. She read it before.
Well, if he's not
looking at set my publication date. Back. Am I here?
Well, you're not touching your face, but you're touching something else. It looks rather torrid from this view.
They never touch my face now.
After scratching the vertical smile, we go for the horizontal one.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, M.A. Comley read it, and she gave feedback and stuff, and she shared it around and things. So yeah, a couple of kind of respected authors have shared it close to publication time.
Okay, and plus gave you the support that it's okay, it fits the genre, it's a good piece of work.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That had that confirmation then that it wasn't awful, which is always nice.
Yeah. This isn't terrible. I remember John Brazy said he met Jerry Purnell, and Jared told him, "Hey, I read your book. It's not terrible."
Yeah, that's all you can hope for, I think.
I guess that's a win. It's a win.
Yeah.
But Scottish, you went with Scottish Highland Scottish crime fiction.
Yeah, it was set locally. I mean, the idea had come to me when I was out walking my dog with my daughter, kind of a couple of years ago, I think, thereabouts.
And you got arrested?
Yeah, when I was out walking the dog with my daughter, and I murdered several people. My dog went missing one day, and I went to try and find the dog, came back out of the kind of woods with the dog.
Damn it! Okay, there we are. Okay, you went out just for a little bit, but looks like you might be coming back. There we are.
This is here. Am I here? Thumbs up.
You are here now. Yep.
Okay, good. Yeah. My daughter had kind of hidden on me, but I had this moment of horror, thinking that she'd been abducted or she'd got lost or something, But and then all the way driving back, I thought, well, what would happen if she had properly vanished? What would happen next? And that kind of just spiraled into the story of the first book
of murders.
Yes. So the first book is about a child who gets abducted in the Highlands.
Okay.
And,
okay, good.
And the consequences of that for everyone.
Okay. Okay. Are these? I haven't read these. I'm sorry. Are they darker? Do they end? Do they have a happier ending?
They're definitely darker. Yeah, they are. I mean, they're far darker than Space Team. There's lots of
Okay. Well, yeah.
there's lots of comedy in them as well, though. There's kind of this seam of quite dark Scottish comedy in there, and I think that comes from talking to people that work in the police and the emergency services. They say that's how they get through the day. That's how they survive, is by laughing about stuff. And they have, I think, quite a warped sense of humor that you need to work in these services. So it has that humor in it, but it's definitely much darker than anything I've seen before. Definitely darker than the kids' books, anyway. Put it that way.
Oh yeah, well of course. But shout out to Patrick O'Donnell, who he talked to us. I have met him a number of times. We go to Milwaukee. Well, right now would be the time we'd be going to GaryCon, but that got canceled, and we would have been able to spend some time with Patrick, who is a career policeman, just retired, and he said exactly the same thing. Those people who knuckle under are not the ones who can embrace the dark humor to get through the day, because it's dark. Fighting crime is dark. You deal with the worst that humanity has to offer. And I mean, he's funny as hell. If you just sit down and have a beer with him, and you need to, if you come to Vegas this November, you need to sit down with Patrick O'Donnell and talk with him and get some of his Irish. He's first generation Irish humor. So if you can understand each other, then you'll be good.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll manage. Yeah, I'm sure we'll get there.
Two people separated by a common language. I'm with you. Cheers.
Yeah.
But what kind of promotion campaign? You just released your third book from J.D. Kirk, right?
Fourth. Yeah, fourth.
Okay.
Fourth book came out. That came out in December, I think.
Okay.
Book 5 is now finished. That will be coming out in April. That's the biggest gap I've ever had between indie books, because Christmas got in the way and all sorts of stuff happened. So that comes out in April, and then book 6 will come out 3 or 4 weeks after that, I'm hoping. Can you hear me? You're staring into my soul.
That's good, but you're back in your groove, because you could really produce with space. Appropriately so, mind you. But the Space Team, you pumped those out fast. You pumped out about like one a month when you first hit those.
Yeah, basically, they took about 3 weeks to write from start to finish. So I could write those quickly. Not necessarily, but quickly.
It's stream of hilarious consciousness. But J.D. Kirk, the crime fiction, is something that you probably have to research certain things.
Yeah, and plot them out properly as well, because
that's a bunch of crap.
At the start of a murder mystery, you need.
Are you there?
You've frozen. Yeah, you've frozen on me.
Oh no, it's me. It's not you. It's me.
We've got.
Oh, great googly moogly.
Can you hear me okay? Am I back?
I hear you just fine, man. Am I back?
Excellent. You're back.
I never left.
Again.
Just for reference, man, I never left.
You're moving. I'm looking at the little bar at the top corner there of how much data connection or how much internet connection we've got, and it's moved up to 2 now. That's a good sign.
Oh geez, mine's showing 1. I suck so bad. Oh my god.
internet, Wi-Fi, nightmare.
That's everybody's streaming Netflix, man. So much for lockdown.
I know. That's it. Yeah. Well, Disney Plus has just launched today in the UK. Yeah. So everybody's watching Disney Plus. Everyone's watching The Mandalorian. That's the problem.
Oh Christ. The the 5th one's coming out soon. 6th one 3 to 4 weeks after. What kind of promotions are you running on book 1 as the new ones get released?
I've mostly been running Amazon ads. I've been lucky that book 1 is currently in Amazon Prime Reading in the UK, which is the biggest market for them. UK outsells the US kind of 5-6 to 1 on these books. So being on Amazon Prime Reading, it really, really helps with the visibility. So, it's been sitting around top kind of 30, top 40 in Amazon UK, the first book. Hit number 1 in Amazon Australia the other day there. I was a number 1 and number 3 with 2 of the books simultaneously overall, which was amazing.
Saw that. That's huge. Really well done.
So that was good. So Amazon has actually been really helpful. I think because they sold so well at the start, I've had what do you call it? What's the Kindle Unlimited prize? You get the most read thing. I can't remember what it's called. All Star bonus.
Yeah.
We had the All Star bonus in the UK for the last 7 or 8 months now, I think. So they've been doing really well over here. And then Amazon, I think, goes, okay, well, we'll help and we'll push it further and faster.
And this is something that some people have a hard time understanding. Well, Amazon needs to push it so it can sell. You got to sell it first. If you can
absolutely,
And then they're like, they want to make money. They get a cut out of your book every single time. So if you're selling 10,000 copies, they're like, hey, we can push this a little bit because we might, if we can help the market, that might sell another 10,000 copies, as opposed to an unknown where 100 copies could become 1 million, but they don't know. They'd rather deal with what they do know. People already like this book, so they'll sell it.
They have in the background, they're doing all that data mining. They know how many people visit that page and how many people then go on to buy that book.
Yep.
So if they go, right, okay, this has got a good ratio here, the more people we can put to this page, the more money we will make.
Yeah.
So that's why they do it, I think. So I've been really lucky that Amazon's been pushing in the UK, and so I'm not really doing that much promotion. I'm running some Facebook ads. I'm running some Amazon ads, newsletter, the usual stuff. Nothing too interesting or unusual.
Well, so obviously this book is doing well. You're making some good money. What are you doing for Fiona with your newfound financial success?
Well, we just bought. We've got a new kitchen, which is more for. Well, that sounds terrible to say. I've bought my wife a new kitchen. That was for all.
I bought her an iron and a new vacuum cleaner.
So she's got a mop. What more does she want?
But it's the best one I could buy.
So we've got a new kitchen. We've just been doing up the house. We bought the house actually.
Good.
Last year, so we bought a house. We put a new kitchen in. We put new windows in, which is ridiculously expensive, it turns out. And we just put a new heating system in, so we're really warm all the time, which is unusual for Scotland. But she's we were about to. We were on the brink of just buying a holiday rental business, and then coronavirus happened, and we decided probably best not to. So we've put that on the back burner for now, and then we'll see. But the house is what we've spent the money on, basically.
Okay, and nothing wrong with that. Taking care of your family, you can't go wrong if you take good care of your family.
And delicious.
Unlimited, unlimited cases of Iron Brew. You bought a house with a separate storage room for Iron Brew.
Just dedicated the Iron Brew room.
Are you still close to the distillery?
Yes. We bought the house that we were living in. We were renting this house for a few years, and then we were looking around at other houses to buy, and then we decided that we'd rather not have to pack everything into boxes and move it. So we decided just to buy this house out of laziness. So we didn't have to move. So we bought this house. So I could literally throw a stone and hit the distillery, hit the Ben Nevis distillery.
You are a godlike entity, little g, so we're not sacrilegious. Yeah. That's probably awesome. I live within a stone's throw of a Scottish single malt distillery. It doesn't get any better than that, man. It's almost like being at Loch Ness and seeing the lake.
Yeah, the loch.
The loch.
The monster popping up every day.
Oh, yeah. Probably won't see him, her, he, she, they, it ever again, because there's way too many cameras watching that thing all the time.
Yeah. Constant.
What about?
But yeah, no, it's good. It's been and Sorry, what were you saying?
Oh no, I was going to divert to Scotland, especially your area. How much does it depend on tourism?
Where we live is massively dependent on tourism. Yeah, tourism is the biggest industry kind of in the town that I live in. So there's a lot of people are very, very worried at the moment about what's going to happen this year.
Well, because
So
it should pick up while they're still telling people stay home.
yeah,
That's when the
well,
weather
there's
gets nice. It's Scotland. The
exactly
weather's
that's it. Yeah,
relatively nice.
yeah, it never gets nice, but it gets
Don't be
tolerable.
crazy.
um, yeah, it occasionally stops raining. We're heading into tourist season. I mean, some of the big tourist events that are supposed to be happening this year have now been cancelled. We have the mountain bike World Cup takes place here. We have motorbike trials week here, which has been cancelled, and so yeah, it's going to have a big knock-on effect for the local economy.
Okay. Well, good luck getting through that. Good luck that everything goes as it needs to. The government shores things up until people can become self-sufficient again. Because there's something that there's some people just nothing you can do. I mean, you're in a really good position. You're keeping writing, and the good thing about, and this is self-published authors. I mean, we people throw about the term privileged. I mean, we've worked our asses off. I know you were working 12, 14, 16-hour days, getting Space Team going. And then when it saw success, you saw even more demand on your time, trying to get those next books done. Hey, let's keep the money rolling in. And so, I mean, we worked really hard to get here, but now it looks like we're sitting in a position of privilege in that.
Absolutely, yeah. Couldn't be luckier that we can. I mean, I work from home anyway. So sit at home and I can just write and put the books out there. And there are a lot of people who are stuck at home who want things to do, and that includes reading. So yeah, incredibly lucky.
Yeah, and worked hard, and it validates our life. Yet you can work from home in our line of work. But people who run the motocross and the mountain bike competition and all the vendors who have built up product over the winter to take there and sell, they're stuck on it. They've got their garage filled with stuff that they were going to sell. Yeah, it's tough, and we understand. I mean, we can reach out and frequenting local businesses, like going out and getting takeaway and stuff like that, is all something that we can still do. I mean,
absolutely. That's what we're trying to do. Yeah, we're trying to support as many local businesses as we can here. Yeah.
Good deal. Anything else you wanted to talk about? I mean, it looks like we've only been online for like 28 minutes. Jeez. You're Barry Hutchison. I mean, you just went down to the self-published show down in London, right?
No, I didn't make it. No, I couldn't make it due to kind of coronavirus-related stuff. So I couldn't make it down, sadly. I was really looking forward to it, but I didn't get to make it down. But I'm hoping that if everything clears up, I might manage to make it across to Vegas.
That would be great.
Which would be amazing. Yeah, it'd be really good fun. I see someone's just asked a question saying, how long are the Space Team books versus the mysteries? I don't know. Can't remember. The Space Team books, I think the first Space Team book was 65,000 words. I think by the 12th one, there were about 80, 90,000 words, thereabouts. The mystery stuff, again, first one was about 70. They kind of go between 70 and 90 as well, thereabouts. So they're kind of roughly the same sort of length. That just feels like my natural writing length, I think. I get bored if I write longer than that.
And that's a good measure. With a first book in a series, you make it as long as you possibly can, because that's the one that gets advertised. That's the one that's going to get a BookBub feature. That's the one you're going to promote. And especially if you're in Kindle Unlimited, you get those page reads, and page reads on a 90,000 word book are much better than a 60,000 word book.
Absolutely, yeah. You're literally
it's almost like 50% more.
Yeah,
it's like a 50% bonus.
Yeah, I noticed that when the books started getting longer. That's why they started getting longer. So,
but what did you do to make them longer?
Chapter, and then I think just the stories get more complicated as I learned kind of who the characters were, and I got to know the characters, and I got to know how they interacted, and I think they just got more complicated, and the conversations between them just flowed that bit more. And sometimes I would get lost in those conversations, especially in Space Team, when there could be half a chapter is just the crew all bickering with each other over something, and then it somehow advances the plot. But I just like that interaction stuff. So I think that's what's made them grow longer, really.
Okay. Yeah, good. And that's I add subplots because the John Truby measure, if you need at least 12, you're really shooting for like 24 subplots of interesting tendrils that the readers will want to follow. So adding subplots, not just adding words and adding fluff and increasing words.
No, absolutely. It's got to be there for a reason. Yeah, it's got to be in there for a reason. With Space Team, that reason might just be this bit's very funny because it's comedy, so it's like this is a funny scene, but it still has to advance the story somehow. Otherwise, there's no need for it.
That's right.
And
you'll lose readers.
Exactly, yeah. I think with Space Team, what is very easy because you can just go, right, what ridiculous, terrible thing can happen to them next? And a lot of the plots are, and then it all ties together at the end, hopefully.
Yeah, and each of your books, you have a resolution by the end?
Yeah, all of them. There's an overarching kind of series plot in all the books, but every book can be read as a standalone with a beginning, middle, and an end. I don't like books that are half a book and then, just nothing is resolved. So every book resolves fully.
And that's your J.D. Kirk books?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's even more important with the crime stuff because there's no point, having a murder in book 1 and then you don't find out who the killer was until book 2. People are not going to be happy with that. So
yeah, goddamn Shetland.
They can be read as standalones.
Yeah, you Scots torture us. Have the gruesome, and I still don't know who shotgun blasted that old lady. I still don't know. I think I fell asleep when they did the great big reveal, but that was like 6 episodes later. God damn Scots.
Yeah, just
Shetland. They got 2 new seasons filming.
Have they?
Yeah, and the second will be the final. So season 7, I think, will be the final season of Shetland.
Right.
So they'll need a replacement, and that's when J.D. Kirk.
That's where I'm going to step in. Absolutely, yeah. Let's see another question.
People love that stuff.
The overarching plot of the J.D. Kirk series, was that known when you started book 1? In how much detail? Asks Facebook user. I'm assuming they've got an actual name, but that's what I see.
Yeah.
Yes, I did know what the overall plot was of the series when I started book 1. In fact, book 6 ties in very much with book 1 and was always kind of intended to. So yes, I knew the plot of book 6 in more detail than I knew the plot of book 1 when I started writing. Has been kind of planned from the start with little things seeded throughout the other books that build up to it. Which makes me sound like an actual proper writer, doesn't it? It makes me sound like I know what I'm doing.
You said the P word, plot, earlier.
Yes. Yeah, but I think with crime you have to, because you're trying to seed these clues through the narrative. Mm-hmm. And if you don't know at the start that who was responsible for the murder or whatever it may be, then you can't do it, So, I plan out the crime stuff far, far more than I plan out the Space Team stuff.
Yeah. And that's the easier part of science fiction sometimes, because I'm writing a space thriller, which it has crime, it has that stuff. It's a space lawyer, and I find that I have to do that as well. I have to have the crime, all the law that supports the crime, the case law, and do that research just so I can put in one little tidbit here and there, and that's it. And of course, the Latin. I use probably an inordinate amount of Latin.
Absolutely, that's all. Yeah. No, I don't have any Latin in any of my books. I try to keep research an absolute minimum. because I'm naturally a very lazy person.
No Latin.
No,
Holy crap.
sorry.
We no longer endorse Barry Hutchison's crime fiction written by J.D. Kirk. You're dead to me. Now I
Sorry.
know Latin is now going to show up in book 6. I know it at
Yeah.
some point.
Okay.
Some
The whole
some
thing was going to be written in Latin. That's it. The whole.
some pretentious twat is going to throw out Latin, and your main character is going to make fun of him.
Yeah. What can I call that character? What?
Oh my God! No, yeah, I know you're not going to do that.
No. Well, we'll see.
My learned
Time will
friend,
tell, Craig.
my learned friend.
Yeah.
All right, way cool, way cool. That kind of. Do you see an end for this series or a new series in your future?
Yeah. Book 6, in some ways, is an end. Book 6 is quite. I don't know. There is a conclusion in book 6, which means I could finish this series at book 6 if I wanted. I suspect that I will, after book 6, my plan is to go and write a space team because those readers have been desperate for a new book for a long time now. So after the 6th J.D. Kirk, there'll be a new space team. And then I don't know what's going to happen after that. I haven't planned that far ahead yet.
Look for the gap in British murder mysteries and fill it.
Yes. It won't be for long though.
Yeah,
But I'm going to go. J.D. Kirk will return.
Good. That's good to hear. Even if it's with new characters. I mean, Agatha Christie wrote all
Yes,
different kinds of characters and series, and
absolutely.
they all saw some
I
kind of
think
success,
that's
of course.
I think that's kind of the plan. I don't want to overdo these characters that I'm currently using in this series. So I think they will return, but I think I'm going to have a break from them after book 6.
Okay.
And do something else.
Well, that's one thing you find, especially when it's small town murder mysteries. That those places tend to be the most violent places on the planet, but it's still such a quaint, homey little place.
It's like 300 murders. There's a TV show over here called Midsummer Murders.
Carolyn Graham,
which is set in quite a small place. Yeah, and God, it's a massacre. Like how there's anyone left alive in that area, I have no idea.
Well, and although we love the main characters, our Midsummer Police constabulary. If every murder stopped after the first one, they would all get away with them. They only find them because they slip up at like the 4th, 5th, 6th, 9th murder.
Yeah, after they butchered like a whole kind of busload of senior citizens, then
and there's nobody left. I know who it is.
It's this one remaining person in town.
Yeah, don't do that, Barry. Don't do that.
No. It was the same as Murder, She Wrote was much the same though. It's like every dinner party Jessica Fletcher attended, somebody died. Yeah. Don't invite that woman to your house.
No, geez. And Cabot Cove, same thing. It's a small town of like 300 people, and that's like over 9 seasons, they had 30 or 40 murders.
And we probably started off with a population of about 6,000, and then by the end of it, that's when it's got 300 left.
Well, they moved away. Are you sure? They're gone now. We'll settle for that. Oh my God. Yeah. As I knew it was going to be fun talking with you, Barry, as always, because there's no topic too sensitive. I mean, it's too early to joke about COVID-19, but I'm here in my shirt, in a hotel room with my chair that I stole out of the garbage.
I saw that. I saw you posting about that. Yeah.
That I brought to the hotel.
Needs must.
Yeah. Oh my God, this thing has been a lifesaver. So you know what? It may have saved itself from the garbage. I'm not going to use it. I have a better chair at home, but it'll go back in the garage in a place of honor that is not the imminent delivery to the garbage dump.
Yeah, a little pedestal you could sit it on, and maybe get a plaque that says, just commemorates it in some way.
with the book I wrote while sitting in this chair. Rise of the
Oh yeah,
AI is the book I'm writing while sitting here.
yes.
So put that in the chair and just sit it here and have it a
I was
place of
trying to
honor.
think earlier about yeah. I think earlier about a COVID-19 kind of crime novel because like in Rear Window when he's sitting and he looks out and he's staring out the window and he sees a murder taking place. If everyone's trapped inside at the moment and looking out the window, and if you could see something
Yeah,
happening, there's maybe a COVID-19 murder mystery waiting to be written.
I think that's probably a good one, and I'm not kidding about that because well, if everybody was inside and everybody claims, hey, I was inside, and how do
Yeah,
you know who did it?
everyone's got that alibi of being
Yep.
stuck in their house. Yeah,
Nobody can. I mean, nobody can verify it because we were all inside. Yeah. So nobody
exactly. No
do that.
witnesses.
Nobody go out and
Yeah.
off people just
Oh,
because.
please don't. Please don't.
Yeah.
And if you do, don't say we told you to do it.
And
Don't
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 do it
say we
here.
gave you the idea. Yeah.
Go Google it or something so you leave a fingerprint somewhere else
Yeah.
other than 20
Yeah.
books of 50K.
Yeah.
All right. Well, happy people. I've kept Barry long enough. Thank you. Thank you very much for coming on the show. I really appreciate your time and your experience. You've been in this business a long, long time.
Thank you.
15 years now,
Oh God knows. Something like that. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. A
and
long
you've seen it.
time.
You've seen it from both sides: the traditional side, the self-published
Yes.
side. You've
Yes,
seen
absolutely.
some
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
success, and and you're willing to share that. So that is way, way cool.
Yeah.
That
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, thank you for having me. Sorry about any technical problems that came from my side. I think the UK internet is about to collapse, which is a worry. Um, but hopefully it will hold out long enough for me to upload this book that I've just finished.
as a matter of fact, we're trying to work from home, and people are trying to work from home, and there's Zoom meetings and stuff
Yeah,
like that. They're going to suffer these same breakdowns, and then it's going to be
absolutely.
email,
Everything's going to slow down.
and then they're going to realize we could have done it by email all along. Travel is
Yeah,
not going to rebound because people are going to say, hey, I don't need to fly to China for that meeting. I don't need to fly
yeah,
over here. We can do it this way. Here's what we need to track. The whole business industry is going to change fairly significantly.
yeah. I absolutely agree, and I think people who previously were commuting to a place of work for an hour a day are going to realize that they can do it from home.
Yeah.
And I think it is going to change the way we work.
Yeah, it's like blue collar is going to have to go to work. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
moving boxes, loading trucks, even if you're driving a forklift or something like that, where it really requires a physical interaction.
Yeah,
But almost every other office worker is going to be, hey, I can do my job from home and even better.
yeah,
It's going to
absolutely, yeah,
and then property prices, man, you'll be able to buy a whole office building instead of just a rented office somewhere.
yeah. That's it.
On
Yeah,
the
and I think you think what a pay rise it is to people if they don't have to fill up their car with gas to get to work. What a if they're not spending that money every week, then it's a
yeah,
pay rise. So
yeah, and I think that's the wealth of the world is not destroyed. It just stays. If people aren't spending, it stays in their hands
yeah,
as long as you're working. So the transfer of wealth, because a dollar earns, everybody touches it, but if nobody touches it, then everybody still has their original dollars,
yeah,
and
yeah.
except for those who are counting on those jobs, like the tourist industry, the hospitality industry, and then
Absolutely, yeah.
they lose that lifeline once again back to government. Hopefully, the unemployment and those kinds of things come through, and
Yeah,
people
the
weather this.
government. I mean, yeah, the government's done quite a lot over here so far. I'm not a fan of the government, particularly over here, but they're doing okay at the moment. Um, we're hoping to see some support coming in for self-employed people, hopefully today, but who
Hopefully, we
knows?
get the same kind of news over here that
Mm,
for folks at risk, they'll get that reprieve so they can pay their rent over the next couple months
yeah, yeah,
and have enough for food until such time as they can get back to work. And
yeah,
that's
yeah,
I'm hoping 2 months, and we weather it. And okay, we'll take a little extra debt if we can get through these 2 months and get back to business as usual, pseudo usual, and
yeah.
and keep everybody alive without sending the world into a big depression where everybody just
That's
hoards
it.
their
Yeah.
money. Now get
Yeah.
out there and spend your money, man. Like you're
Yeah.
doing with your
Absolutely.
house. Like I'm unable to do here, but I will be soon. And I'm still. I paid a guy $500 to plow our road and my driveway over this snowstorm. It's 3 different plow jobs, but just keeping that money flowing to people who need it.
Yeah. 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 We're doing the same.
So
We're trying to support as many local businesses here as we can.
good deal. Well, thanks everybody. Thanks for showing up. Tomorrow we have Joe Solari talking about cash flow. So it was a good segue. We've got other things to do and got books to write. Keep writing.